Hello, folks. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be. This is Dr. Godswill Loki with Communication Moments. Thank you for joining us once again. Thank you for this opportunity to discuss communication and also look at events taking place in our beloved country, Nigeria, especially from the communicative angle, as it were. Today, we shall briefly talk about an important aspect of internal communication, uh, which revolutionized the way communication is carried out, and that is the email. The email is an important aspect, that is electronic mail. And this you use internally. You can use it for big organizations. You can use it internally and also externally to send in communications. And communication through the email can be done in real time, and you have a standard and compatibility concerning the message that you send out. Uh, Before now, communication using email can it can also be um, a give and take thing, but I think newer tools have taken care of that. But people can use the email to communicate, send in a message, and you receive within the real time. Um, at the same time, there are several recipients which you can also send an email message to. It may not be one person, but you can send for a group to a group. So that saves time, and also that ensures there's a uniform message which is sent. It has a lot of advantages. It has the geographical reach. It can be sent to any part of the world, and it gets there immediately. Email is easily accessible. It's easily accessible. Anybody can access email, unlike what it was before. But now you can access email wherever you are and using whatever device you have, even your telephone, Android phones, iPhones, they all come with the email. It serves as a record, which is very important for organizations. Your communication using the email serves as a record. It can always be referred to. Even if you delete it, it will still be within the system, and it can be tracked. If something gets amiss, or a malware or something is sent in, it can be tracked, using the tool of the email. The email is free. It's free. It can be done from anywhere, but this is talking about now. In those days, in the early 2000, you pay a little to the business center where you're sending the email. But that is no longer the case. Now you can send an email from anywhere. And it allows for targeted communication. What do I mean by that? Targeted communication, whereby after some research as activity has been done, you can decide on whom and whom you want to reach, depending on your product or depending on what you're prospecting. You look at that and then you send emails to them. Now, the email has some things that we should know about it, especially before we send um, cold call kind of emails. It should be short. Emails should not be unnecessarily long. The email should be short, and it comes in with you can make attachments. So you can write a short message and you make an attachment to it. It is used mainly for formal communication these days. Our friends may still use it, but like I said, it's a device that has been overtaken by newer communication tools like the WhatsApp, like Telegram, and so on and so forth, Messenger, so which come handy. But the email is used for formal communication, and to achieve whatever intended um, message communication you want to, you ask yourself certain questions, who is the audience, as when you're writing from the sales point of view, who is the audience of this email? You that has to that will help you in preparing, knowing the way you will approach that email. If you are writing to the management or manager, top manager, definitely it's going to be different compared to when you are writing to a colleague or a subordinate, or compared to when you're making a cold drop-in as it is. Then what is the relationship? You have to ascertain the kind of relationship before you know the language, the kind of language you're going to use in an email. Then what do you want? What do you want from that organization? And so you have to think, and make assumptions, about what you want from the organization, and at the same time, how you want the organization to see you, the writer. So it's quite it's a sensitive thing in writing email messages, because these are the things that tell and define whom we are to the recipient of the email. Now, it has components like every other thing in communication. The email has its components. One of the components is the subject line. The subject line is like the headline of a newspaper, a magazine, or the TV headline, the news headline. That gives the direction of what you want to write about. So it has to be thought through. Then you have to have the main points of the message. What is the main point? But before going to that, you have to have email has to have greetings and then sign-offs. The greeting here, it may be a bit you need to think through it. It does, since we recognize that it's not informal, and depending on the relationship between the two, if it's a manager subordinate to a manager, you have to know how to address the person you are writing to. You wouldn't want to use the first name, so it's better you use a Mr. or Doctor or whatever. Or you can write to the manager. That would be a safe way to do it. And also in closing, the closing has to also you don't just close abruptly. You have to have words that are a bit warm and friendly. Best regards, thank you. You don't just close abruptly. And also you in closing, also you indicate your name, and if it's official, your designation and the organization you work for. This is important. So you sign off properly and you also close properly. Before writing the email, you are expected to think through what you want to write. You don't just write haphazardly, because you're representing the organization and you don't want a wrong impression to be formed about you, about the organization. Then the tone of the message matters. What is the tone of the message? It has to be cordial. It has to be friendly. It's written, so one has to be very careful about the tone of the message. So the recipient won't think the organization rude. Then there has to be clarity and brevity in the message. We can't talk so much about this, but clarity of the message is important. Then you need to proofread. Oh boy, the time is up. I don't want to go past this time. You have to proofread. You check the grammar, you check the spelling, you check the punctuation, you check the capitalization, then you paragraph for it to be interesting. Remember, this is Dr. Godswill Oke with Communication Moments. Subscribe, share, make comments, and we will keep enjoying this interface between you and I. Communication Moments. We can also organize seminars, conferences. We consult for you. Thank you so much and remain blessed.